Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today we're talking about day 9 of switching from Nvidia to AMD. And as you can see by the smile on my face, I'm pretty happy. So as what happened was today I woke up and I saw a message from Tara in the comment section telling me to take out the CMOS and to reset my motherboard and then let the motherboard reconfigure the memory. So I put the 32 gigs, the two sticks that I bought a while back in the motherboard, and then I reset the CMOS this morning before I even went to work. And then I turned it on and I checked one of my game and it was still kind of buggy at first or whatever. So when I got home today, before I went live, I had switched it over to XMP Profile 2, and then when I got on there, and I just tried every game. I literally just tried every game that I was having problems with. Every single one of them run butter freaking smooth now. So I'm super stoked and super excited about this. That I already had more memory on the way, but I'm going to go ahead and just return that and hope and just hope everything keeps running good. So I'm pretty excited about this. I am starting to get to a point now, 9 days into this, where I've started to I've started to play around with things more, and I've started to see things, and I've started to play more and test more games, and just kind of my overall experience has went from really good at first. I was like, yeah, I was really happy about it, and then I had the little memory experience, and now that I've got this kind of ironed out to the point where I can play these games and they're running smooth and I'm not having any issues, I'm really happy about this. I think I made a good decision by switching over to AMD, and every day just kind of gets a little bit better because in between those games, there's other items that this build allows me to do now, and it's just a pretty dang good experience. Like I feel like just going to the next gen cards, like either Ryzen or Nvidia, has definitely, like, the technology has gotten better, so things run a lot better, and it just it's just mind blowing how one little issue like that, just putting in, or swapping out memory sticks after they've already been in the PC, can cause something like that. And it's one of those things that you learn along the way as you're going and you start your journey into PC gaming. You'll start to learn these things, and then they'll become like second nature, and you'll know what to do. You'll know you'll know what to look for next time, so that you don't continue to make these mistakes. I fix things at work every day, so when I have a problem, an issue, and I start to troubleshoot everything, man, this is like one of the, but see, then I have the community too that gives me lots of suggestions and stuff, and some of it, definitely a wild goose chase, and probably slowed down the process, to an extent. But I am so grateful to have a community of friends that will go out of their way to help me try to figure these things out, and give me suggestions to help me find these things, and then I can research stuff. And the amount of knowledge I've gained in the last 9 days about PCs is incredible. Like, I've learned so much now, and I've read so many things, and I've found different types of solutions for different types of problems that might arise during my PC what do you call it, my PC adventure. This is awesome, man. Like, getting this figured out and getting this fixed, because I did figure it out. I did get it fixed with those other cards, and it was working really good. And then I put these ones back in here to see if it would still, like, if it was still good. And that is like one of the things that, like, really has me pretty happy about this now. So I want to take back all the mean and hurtful things I said about AMD, and like really move forward, like starting to just cover things, starting to cover the stuff that I wanted to cover, now that I've moved past that hump and I've moved forward. That knowledge that I gained, definitely very valuable, definitely very good. So now I want to I want to take a minute to like really talk about this 7900 XT. Like, this card is powerful. Like, this is pretty awesome. I get in there and I'm playing games and I'm like way higher frame rate than I was on my 3080. Playing things just feels really smooth now. Feels really good. Everything feels really what's the word for it? It just feels more immersive due to the fact that I've got a higher FPS. The visuals, I can max out literally everything. Like, I can max out everything now. I was just playing around with Cyberpunk 2077 and doing like some benchmarking on that one. I was running around in Ghost Recon. I jumped on my TT Isle of Man 3 and my WRC 10 games that were like really doing like that hard stutter thing. And now they're just butter smooth and they feel so good to play that I'm like, wow, this is incredible. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and try to tell you that my Nvidia experience wasn't good, because it was for the most part. It was just getting to a point where I was starting to get FOMO because I kind of felt like Nvidia. I kind of felt like Nvidia left me behind. It left me behind with not being able to, with not having, you know, DLSS 3 and all of that stuff be backward compatible, with not being able to have enough VRAM to start playing the newer games that are starting to drop. I was starting to really feel like Nvidia, not sabotaged, but created a situation to where like I was gonna have to upgrade, and instead of giving them the money to upgrade, I chose their competitor. Plain and simple. I chose Nvidia, or I chose AMD, and now that I've got my memory thing fixed, it really is puppies and rainbows. Like, it really is. It's not a bad experience whatsoever. All of the drivers for the AMD and all of that stuff, now that I've isolated and moved that problem aside, everything is pretty dang good. Like, I'm not having any more problems now that I've got that memory issue figured out and sorted. The experience is smooth. Switching on, like, even my TV, man, like, I switch on the TV and it comes on. When I turn off that TV while after I'm done using the 4K, it doesn't make all my screens blink. There's so many things, like quality of life things, that this upgrade has given me, that it makes it a better experience and a next gen PC experience that I'm finally getting. Now, I am kind of like treading about the halfway line, because I'm still on the AM4 platform, but now I have the new graphics card. I probably will stick with the 5800X for a while. I was thinking about upgrading that because I was wondering if that was part of my problem, but seeing as I'm getting really high frame rate and I'm able to play these games and they're better than they've ever been, I'm in a position now to go ahead and hang on to what I got and just continue to invest money in other places to further upgrade my gaming experience. I want to get back into being able to do some sim racing stuff and some other things. So there's something that is that's something that I'm a lot happier now. Like, I really am happy. I'm happy that I made this decision, and I'm happy that I was able to figure this out. And it's good for me to put these videos out and help you and take you along with my journey, so that you can understand that, like, look, man, things are going to come up and it's going to be frustrating. But if you're patient and you just you know, take a you know, a focused approach at what you're doing, and as you're going through the things, the answers are going to come to you. Like, maybe not everybody. I mean, you do have to have, I'm not going to lie, you do have to have a certain amount of knowledge to be able to do things, like you do. And it is to a point where, like, you're going to have to read a lot of stuff. You're going to have to get a lot of help. Not all of it's going to be useful, but all of it is. I do feel like everybody in the community is very genuine when they're trying to help you figure out a problem. Like, you will get some of the ones that are like, you probably should have just went with Nvidia. And I mean, you kind of just have to be like, yeah, like, I understand that, like, Nvidia is great. And you don't, and you kind of have to just move past that, because if you're going to make a decision to go AMD, that's a pretty significant decision. Like it is. I'll tell you honestly, I had anxiety. That's why I had to sell that 3080 as quick as possible, because I had anxiety. Like I was like, oh man, dude, I have to commit to this. If I don't commit to this AMD thing, then I'm gonna get weak, and I'm gonna go spend a whole bunch of money on something else. And I'm glad that I figured this problem out, and I'm glad that the experience is significantly better than what I had already. So it kind of just evens things out. I mean, the real test is going to be when Starfield comes out. Like, we're going to see how that runs on this build, and if I'm FOMO'd out to have to go buy more stuff already. I don't know. I like this, man. I like AMD. I like what AMD has. Let's put it this way: the experience is so good that I'm like, wow, this is good. Like, this is competitive. This, to me, this is competitive. If you're going with AMD or you're going with Nvidia or even Intel, like I'm not opposed to trying an Intel card and buying one and checking that out. Like, I'm not opposed to that at all. Like, I don't want to be stuck in like some little fanboy loop on the PC market, because that can get super expensive very quick. I want to be able to like move from one to one and be able to try things and see how everything works. And I'll tell you what, when it comes to the software, for the Adrenalin software for the AMD platform, for what I need to do with it, I love it. I love it way more than what I was getting from Nvidia. Like, I thought for sure I was going to really miss Nvidia Broadcast, but I'll tell you right now, I don't miss it anymore. The new software that I have for AMD, I'm not missing it. I'm not missing it. I'm not having a problem with it. And I actually, in some ways, I think it's a lot better. Now, the noise suppression thing, I'm going to have to try that again now that I've got everything worked out. Maybe it was like a memory thing that was like causing some issues with that. So I'll give that a try. And then, you know, for the most part, like going through all of the settings and stuff, everything is in one box. Everything's in like one package in that software for the Adrenalin software, whereas NVIDIA, you have to go to the control panel, or you have to go into the broadcasting, or you have to go into GeForce Now. There's so many different, just everything's so spread out on NVIDIA that sometimes you're like Adrenalin's like right there. You click the button and it's the whole package, the whole deal. You can change everything. You go into the control panel and you gotta like go through all of NVIDIA's stuff, and it looks so old and so dated that it's like well, once you start playing around with Adrenalin, like you already feel like it's a superior, like you already feel like the UI for Adrenalin is a superior experience just in how you're playing around with that. But you know, over on NVIDIA, what they do have works. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that NVIDIA is bad or that you shouldn't buy NVIDIA. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, yeah, dude, you should just run out and buy AMD and save money, because what works for me might not work for you. But at the end of the day, like, I'm happy with my decision. Like, I am. I feel like AMD has a competitive product this generation for sure, 100%. I think that I think the AMD stack this generation will more than deliver on your expectations for less money, and be a solid experience that you could. I think you could upgrade from any 30 series card, because this card that I have right now pretty much trades blows with a 3090 Ti. So I essentially bought a 3090 for $780, well, 800 and something, like $840 or whatever. I bought a 3090 for that power, and I still got a little bit like, and it's solid. Like, it's solid. So you could pretty much replace any 80 series or 30 series card with this one, and you'd be good to go. And if you want a little bit, and if you want more bang for your buck, get the 7900 XT, because the prices are gonna drop on AMD. This is probably that generation that I'm like, yeah, you should. If you're somebody that upgrades your card pretty often, go ahead and go AMD. Go ahead and go AMD. I think you're going to get way more bang for your buck, especially if you're putting it up against the price of a 4080. I don't want to be like, yeah, you need to teach NVIDIA a lesson or whatever, but at the same time, like, they can't continue to just up the prices like that and not get some pushback. So, I mean, me personally, after getting this all figured out and playing around with this for the last 9 days, and I've put some extensive time into this. I've played a lot of games. I've done a lot of stuff with the software. I've played around with just everything. And at the end of the day, after this is all figured out and said and done, this is one heck of an experience for PC, like it is. it's the visuals look great. I think the HDR is a little bit nicer. It looks a little bit nicer. I feel like, and that's just me. Maybe it's something that a lot of people don't see, but I'm testing it on my TV, my monitors, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm blown away. Like just the way the colors, I feel like. Because I got into Nvidia and I played with all the color software and stuff like that, put it on like 10-bit, all of that stuff, and use like the Nvidia color and all of that. So I know about all that. I know it all exists, and I did try that. But on the AMD side, it just feels closer to that Xbox experience in color, and the Nvidia kind of feels more like the PlayStation experience in some regards, where it just doesn't, where that deep color HDR that they use on PlayStation just doesn't, like, it kind of crushes blacks and stuff like that. I'm not saying that the Nvidia card crushes blacks. I'm just saying that it feels a little bit more muted as opposed to what I get on the more vibrant colors for the AMD card and in like Xbox in general. Like, it does feel a little, it does look a little bit better to my eye. In terms of rasterization power and all of that stuff, yeah, this card's awesome. Everything looks great. It looks good. I did have an issue where I had, like, in the Adrenaline software, I'd put the sharpening up, so that automatically, like, sharpened my games and made them look funky. I turned that down. That was probably a setting that was in the Nvidia settings too, like under the hood type settings, that I never turned down. That's probably why my Kiloton racing games looked a little bit weird. But now that I've got that sorted, that's something that's some knowledge that I'll have for the next time if I do end up getting an Nvidia card again later down the road. I'll have more knowledge. Like, this has forced me to learn more things about PC and, like, setting things up. So I'm happy. This was a good experience for me. I like this product. I think this is a quality product. I think that the AMD cards are just as good as Nvidia for gaming. Like, they are. Like, if you've got to have ray tracing and all of that stuff, the Nvidia cards are doing it definitely better. They're on their generation 3. These are on generation 2. So you're getting pretty much. I would say the ray tracing on this card is on par with what I was is on par or better than what I was getting on the 3080, except for Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is still, like, I put on the ultra ray tracing thing, and it drops it to 15 frames a second, a solid 15 frames a second, but it drops it. And it's a slideshow, and it's bad, but it looks good when you stop and you just look around. It looks good. So, but you can play it. You can get a playable experience in the at 1440p with everything enabled, with high ray trace, well, ultra ray tracing. You can still get a 30 FPS, a little bit. For me it was from 30 to 60, in that ballpark, right around 45 to 50 frames a second is about the average I feel like I was getting with that. So it is still playable. You can still play it. Your FreeSync or your G-Sync is gonna make it feel at least smooth, but you are gonna notice, like, the lower FPS judder. Like, you're gonna notice that. You know, like you'll see it. Like, you'll understand if you ever do buy this and you want to check that out. But overall, playable. You can lock it to 30. You could play it at 30, or you could just turn the ray tracing off and have a lot of frames, and that was cool too. So, and it did feel a lot more stable. So that's good. This is a good product. I think AMD I think they got a good generation on their hands, and everybody's saying that they're overpriced GPUs. Let's look at this for a minute. If you wanted a 3090 Ti, that card came out at $2,000. This is $1,200 cheaper than that. $1,200 cheaper MSRP out the door for this card. Is it really overpriced? I don't think so. I think that's a fair price for $800 for this card. Well, what is it? $899 for this card, $999 for the other one. If you were to buy them our MSRP, that's $1,100. I think that's a fair price. You're getting 3090 Ti performance out of this card. That is a fair price. I do not feel like that's a bad price. So when I hear everybody like, "Oh, the price is too high," I think it's just like these guys want to see AMD come out and like literally give things away, man. Like I feel like they want them to give things away. The performance and everything that I've gotten out of this card, I don't have a problem with that. The Nvidia option is way more. Way more. So yeah, this is fine. I guess you could argue you get better, blah blah blah. I don't know, man. All of my problems from this build stemmed from my mistake with the memory. Now that I've gotten that fixed and it's all ironed out, everything is great. It feels incredible. It's smooth, and it's everything that I hoped it would be. Like, it is good. It is very good. So, if you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe, man. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.